Modern day America, in some cases, still being impacted by historical norms. Some say the distinction of so-called white and black communities through redlining has trickled down impacts today.
And while the country continues fighting for social justice, where does equity in housing stand? News 8's Katira Winfrey spoke with representatives with the Westside Community Development Corporation in tonight's We Stand Together report.
Hawville, Hawthorne, Stringtown make up the near West Side, and for roughly 7,000 Hoosiers, this is home. It's also home to the Westside Community Development Corporation. Robert Hawthorne is the executive director. Here they help community members with housing needs and improvements, also some merchant development. For the many here considered low income, Hawthorne says they are fighting against the system stacked against them, making sustained and adequate housing sometimes hard to find. He says the work to change that is constant.
Redlining has basically created a generational problem. We have families who have worked hard 3 or 4 generations ago to build a home and to own a home. And then to be placed in a situation where you have gentrification come in. Those things continue to plague communities, the urban flight piece, that circular movement of economics from the inner city to the suburbs, and then from the suburbs now back to the inner city. All those things are hinged upon how much a family actually earns and how much their net worth has continued to increase over time. And when you prevent families from having an opportunity at home ownership, which is the biggest wealth building piece that a family can have, what you have done is you have permanently pushed that person and family to an underclass. And you put them in a situation where they continue to struggle, not just for that family, but for generations to come.
How does what you all do combat that? I know you work with improving living, improving housing, educating people on what to do. How does your work kind of fight against gentrification? I
think we probably have a threefold effect. I think the first piece is really having the community and neighborhood associations understand the value that they have here, and get people to understand that where you live at is a great place to live. Now, we don't have that problem with a lot of the long-term residents, but people who are just moving here or who think Hallville has the highest crime rate in the city, which it does not. But everybody believes that, so it's just trying to just convince people that this is a great place to live. But the piece that we affect directly is identifying homes within the area that need assistance, either as a vacant lot to build new homes, or as a rehabilitation of a vacant house. And for us, we spend a lot of time assisting individuals in their homes so that we can put a new roof on or put new siding on or things like that so they can stay in their homes. Because what happens with gentrification is once a new house gets built or a higher income individual comes in, it sets a new standard. And the standard that was here that we've been living with and growing on for the last 30 years is no longer the standard to be reckoned with. So what happens is these people, these individuals are then pressed on by health and hospital for different code violations. They don't have the money to fix up their homes, don't have the money to put a new roof on the house and things of that nature. So we assist with those types of things in order to keep them in the unit. The other piece is education, is recognizing that no, there's value here, and if you own property here, this property is going to go up in value. And there's really not much that's going to stop it from going up in value except that you don't believe that you live in a community that is valuable. That's the only thing that's going to prevent that.
You were saying how valuable it is to understand how valuable property is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's always included in the conversation about equity, about fighting for just due, about things like that. So while we're fighting for all of these things, let's not forget about fighting for our communities when it comes to pushing against gentrification, pushing or learning about home ownership, property ownership, just the value in knowing that too.
Reality still comes down to people, comes down to individuals, and comes down to systems. And the systems that we have continue to perpetuate inequity, continue to go against an individual who is for the first time looking for a home, and they have to walk into a mortgage company who sees them first as a black person and last as a viable candidate for a mortgage. And until we as a country can begin to recognize the value of people and understand that there has been a great injustice played and that continues to get played to this day since the early 30s, we're going to be at a loss of actually providing equity in the community. But the only thing that's really going to begin to change that is the rules. And as long as the rules stay the same, as long as the people who are making the rules do not value equity, we're going to continue to have issues and continue to have problems.
If you'd like to see this or any of the other in-depth stories in our We Stand Together series, just head to our website.
Yeah, you can find our website, wishtv.org.